Welcome back to SportsLime. Today we're going to start with the Balon d'Or award ceremony, which took place yesterday. Lionel Messi emerged the winner. I believe Erling Haaland took second place, and Kylian Mbappe walked away with the third spot. What do you have to say about that, boy, Darren?
Well, okay, let me give my perspective on this thing they call the Balon d'Or. Um, Firstly, I would have seen over the period of time when I was younger, I would have taken on the Balon d'Or, be like, well, okay, but something that was a really a legitimate thing. However, over the period of years, looking at this Balon d'Or, this trophy that is done by L'Equipe is L'Equipe magazine
Yeah,
and basically has different coaches and players, whoever from all around the world voting for it. But boy, you see, when you want to make something credible, you have to make it standardized. That's not coming from right. I
yeah.
mean that is the typical normal things when it comes to quality assurance and quality control and
You
these
have to
things, right?
set your criteria
You
or
have to have
whatever.
a criteria and you have to keep it standardized across the board. You can't come with whims and fancy and decide to make changes certain years. And this is what now I'm not taking up the fact. I'm not gonna get into the argument of Lionel Messi. I know Lionel Messi is one of the greatest players I have ever seen. And honestly, personally, me,
Yep.
I believe he's the best I have seen. So I am not a Messi hater. But at the end of the day, when it comes to individual awards, you have to be really and truly unbiased and impartial and must be, like I say, everything must be standardized. So I will use some examples. For example, we would have seen over the period of time, I would have seen to myself, and I began to question these things after that. Did you remember? That was the Dutch, was it
The
the
2010 World Cup.
Euros or the World Cup? Where the
The
Dutch
2010
played
World Cup, yeah.
The Spanish in the World Cup.
hmm
So Wesley Snyder that year would have won the
He
Champions
won the
League.
treble. He
He
won
won
the
the treble,
treble.
actually. Yeah, he won the treble for Inter Milan, and they would have won in the Champions League. He was the
And he had an
outstanding player
excellent
there.
world. He had an excellent World
He had
Cup
an
as well with the
excellent
Brazil
role to the
edition.
World Cup. He carried his Dutch team to the final, and
hmm
albeit one goal by Iniesta in extra
The better
time.
team won, but
Yeah, but the
it
team
was a
won on the
good,
day, yeah.
extremely
But
good run
but
by
it
the
begs the
Dutch.
question: that year Lionel Messi did win it, not so? I think he won
Yeah,
it, right? Because I think he would have broken a Spanish. I think that was the year when he scored his 73 goals or something this
yeah,
season.
well more than that. Yeah, but he would
Yeah,
have won it based on individual performances
individual
without really
performances.
winning anything.
Yeah, but my thing about it is, what are we checking? Are we checking because that year you check only one league? You check one league, where right, and that was one league that was checked where he scored 70 something goals. You had this man. He was well. He didn't. Well, he was a playmaker, so he was instrumental, the best player for the team, and he would have done it in the treble in Italy. He would have done it in Champions League, which is the basic where we could say competition, which part we could say is the one in which you can really compare with teams playing one another's different leagues. And he won the World Cup. And people come and say here that the World Cup is the one that takes well a higher echelon then in terms of you know how much value and how much weight it is. That was one. And just recently, the pandemic, and what about Bowie Boy Lewandowski?
Yeah,
That year, when Lewandowski supposed to win it, Lewandowski broke Goetmuller record.
hmm
That was the one year they
they won the
decided,
Champions League.
yeah, they won the Champions
They
League.
probably won a treble.
Yeah, exactly. And they decided not to give it. I think there are other notable mentions as well that could have maybe been
Frank
the
Ribery.
right, right. So to me,
Yeah,
boy, I mean, that is my whole thing about this Ballon d'Or thing. At the end of the day, it comes down to, I understand that Lionel Messi, yes, he did something great. He finally carried Argentina to the World Cup, I believe. But is he the best? You see, it comes down to the best player in the world. And I know
but
people might be like,
this is
oh,
where I wanted to start my
yeah.
conversation. He's
People
no
might be like,
longer the
oh,
best player in the
Darrell, but
world.
what are you doing? What are you doing? Is he the thing? No, but at the end of the day, this is not a world thing. This is a yearly thing. Was he the
A
best
yearly thing,
player this
exactly.
year? That is my thing. And at the end of the day, if Lionel Messi had to get it for the World Cup, if let me say, okay, he won the World Cup, he was the player of the tournament, He had some goals and assists in France. Well, who the hell is check France football, anyways, right? Kylian
Exactly.
Mbappe.
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe was in France too. Kylian
He got
Mbappe.
player of the
Well,
year in France.
yeah, played the year in France. Kylian Mbappe went to the World Cup final. Kylian Mbappe scored a hat trick in the World Cup final. Um, so if you want to talk about in terms of winning and what did that individual person do, then I could say I can make a case for Julian Alvarez to get the
But we see that's a
in
good point
essence.
because Alvarez was in the top 10. So for him to
Right,
get into
exactly.
the top 10,
Yeah,
that
I
means he
can make
was
a point.
considered
I
highly.
mean, I can make, yeah, exactly. I can make a point for Julian Alvarez to be the Balon d'Or. He was not even nominated though, because Julian Alvarez played for Man City. He scored some goals for Man City. Maybe he wasn't as instrumental as Erling Haaland, but he was also there and he also played some games for Argentina. You understand?
Yeah.
So this
He
is
scored 2 goals in the semifinals and won a penalty.
exactly. You
Yeah.
understand?
So,
So these are all the things we could consider. Erling Haaland, well, they won the trouble. He broke records. I mean, albeit he didn't play in the World Cup. So based on that, now maybe we might see Erling Haaland in the non-World Cup years. In the World Cup years, maybe he may not ever qualify because I don't think Norway will ever win a World Cup.
but no, they can't. Yeah, that's it.
You
So let
understand?
me let
So
me let me jump in there now,
yeah,
based on exactly what you're saying there. And you said it. You said it before. The Ballon d'Or is an individual award based on individual performances, right? So it's not a team performance, and they take the best player from that team. And I believe the Balon d'Or, in many years, not this is not the first year, took players out of the best team and just decided to award it to them without them actually being the best player in the world. So if you want,
mhm.
you spoke about 2010. I actually think Messi have a better argument for 2010 than he has for now. Because
Yeah,
arguably in 2010 he was the best player in the world, right?
yeah, he was. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Barcelona didn't win much, and Argentina didn't win the World Cup. We all agreed that Wesley Schneider was very instrumental and he was one of the best players in the world. And we thought he should have won it based on what he achieved, right?
Hmm.
But Messi was one of the best players in the world. And you know, sentimental value of certain things, Messi and Ronaldo, they're moving past the European football stage. I just feel like we rob Erling Haaland of our opportunity because Haaland broke a Premier League scoring record. He was the top scorer in the Champions League. They won this treble for the first time. How long has City been trying to win this treble? They
Well,
spent a lot of money,
City never really win
but
anything before
anything, right? So
a
to
few
win
years, right?
leagues,
So they didn't know how they
to
win it,
win the
but I
Premier
mean, yeah,
League
they
in about
tried.
10 years,
They
they
finally
have
won
been
the
trying.
Champions League.
They
Yeah.
finally won the Champions League, and men will say Haaland didn't score, but I watch the Real Madrid games. The reason we get so much licks from City is because we was preoccupied marking
Erling
1-1. We
Haaland.
won marking that Erling Haaland,
Yeah.
yeah, and they leave
Yeah.
other players free. So I just hope that Erling Haaland could replicate this year or the year that he just had at some other point in his career where he will actually be considered to win an award like this because that was a hell of a year, man.
Yeah, it
That's not
was.
something easy. That was a hell of a
But
year. And to come in
mhm.
the first season to do it, to take the Premier League like storm, the Premier League is said to be the best league in the world, and hit that league running. You're with the best team in the league, but other players was playing for that team too. Sergio
And
Aguero
you
was there for
know,
years and he couldn't do it.
right. Well, I mean, today we're going to talk a little bit about one word I want to talk about today in today's session, and that word is optics, right? And optics is like how things look. And like I'm saying, I am a Lionel Messi fan. I think Lionel Messi is the best player ever. I am pro Messi, and the Messi Ronaldo situation, two of them is great players, but I think Messi better, right? So people don't hate on me, but the real thing about it is how it looks. And you're telling me, especially given the fact that this was something of a debate going onwards, and everybody's waiting to see the whole world, all the commentators, all the pundits, everybody's like waiting to see. Nah, you can't be given Lionel Messi. You had to be given Erling Haaland. This is the year. And a lot of debates going on about if the World Cup is money. But how you can I watch part of the ceremony and I see Lionel Messi walking up to collect his Balon d'Or. And the person who announced his name is his owner, David Beckham.
David Beckham.
What
How
about the optics of that now? How does that look?
yeah.
I find that was just like what?
Imagine
Did
parents handing
Yeah,
A
exactly.
Balon d'Or to
Imagine.
Cristiano
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
exactly. So I think that was the optics of that was kind of bad. You understand? So, like, I mean, honestly, I mean, we just had the arguments. We was talking with some of the guys this week, this thing, and some of them was saying, well, Erling Haaland supposed to win it, and some was saying no. I mean, we had the Barca fans in this group. We have Carlos in the group, and he was like, well, yeah, he believed Messi should win it, and this one should win it. But at the end of the day, personally, me, whoever wins it, I find it just this thing has lost credibility a while now
Yeah.
because yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Okay,
grow
okay,
up with it and they like it,
yeah.
right? So
But let me
the
use one
best
thing
player
because
in
I
the
know we're
world
going
want to
into a
have it on the
session.
name.
I know we're going into a topic that you want to speak about, right?
Mm.
And we'll use this to kind of build on the topic you want to talk about now. Now, Emi Martinez was given goalkeeper of the year,
The
not
Levi
so?
Ashina will. Yeah,
The
the
Levi
Levi
Ashin
Ashina will.
Award. But he is not ranked what
He's ranked
as the best.
15th, actually.
He's ranked
And
15th.
then Bonu was 13th.
Yeah. So make it make sense. And the thing
I
about
don't
this
know.
is, and well, I don't know if like I say, this is not FIFA. This is L'Equipe, and
Right.
these are individuals who vote to these awards. Right. This is
That's
not
right.
statistics. This is not. So this is full of what we could call personal subjectivity. Right?
Yep.
In which part I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
vote. So,
yeah.
for example, if I was a Barca coach, who do you think I'm going to vote for? I'm going to vote for Messi. If I was a Real Madrid coach, I voting for thing. If I was a Manchester man, I'm voting for Ronaldo. That how it is go.
That's how it
You
is. That's how it
understand?
is, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
if it so and
since
all
we
I we know
talk
is
about
City. By
keepers,
the way, before I go, and all I we know is City don't have no fans, so nobody are voting for them, right?
that's
So
true.
Anna
That's true. They
Callan,
might get one
Anna,
fan.
yeah, they might get one fan. Anna Callan, yeah,
That's true. But let me talk about goalkeepers here, boy, because it has had a plethora of goalkeepers who have been notoriously or infamously making errors on the professional stage at the top level for quite a few years now, right?
you play on
So
the back,
it have those pure goalkeepers. I would
yeah.
say Courtois is one. His distribution is not the
We
best,
have Courtois.
but
We
he's a
have this
pure
guy from PSG.
PSG. Allison is a pure goalkeeper.
Yeah,
But when you go back into the days of
Donnarumma from
Donnarumma, right?
PSG. His main stuff. Yeah, Donnarumma.
Back
We
in the
have
day, if you look at
Allison,
the best goalkeepers that we probably see,
Oliver
Casillas in the
Kahn,
earlier part in the career, Oliver Kahn, Gigi Buffon, and I'm going
Van
to
der
call a name
Sar.
here. I'm going to call Van der Sar,
Mm-hmm.
Dida, but I'm going to call a name here who raised the bar for these distribution type goalkeepers too high that a lot of other keepers try to emulate him, but they're just not as good as him, and it's Oliver Neuer. Um, Manuel Neuer,
That's
sorry.
yeah, Manuel Neuer.
Manuel Neuer. So Manuel Neuer had the best of both worlds. He was an excellent goalkeeper. Is he played this weekend as he came back from a 1 year injury. He's an excellent goalkeeper,
The sweeper
and he
keeper.
was ex sweeper keeper, and he was excellent with his feet and distributing the ball. And now I don't think we get. You see, this man set that bar so high.
I think
So we
this. I
have
think.
fellas,
I think. I think out of all of them, I think Edison does that.
but Edison is prone to mistakes as a keeper
Yeah,
too.
he is pro nemesis, but I think like thing.
But
But
Edison does it. But he has
yeah,
a lot.
but I
Edison has a
understand what
good
you're gonna
defense
say.
and a
Is
good team in front of him.
yeah,
Eh?
because now we're seeing two sets of keepers. We're seeing
Two
keepers who
sets
good
of
at their
keepers.
feet,
Yeah.
and then we're seeing these shot stoppers, the big 6'7" guys who could
Yellow,
stop it
black,
and
and them fellas and them who's.
command a box and right exactly.
But this is right. This is why I get into it because I've been accustomed to shot stoppers. We had Casillas, then Keylor Navas for a good few years, and Courtois up to recently before the ACL injury. And now we finally have a keeper and he is good at his feet, and he's good
The
as a
Chelsea man.
yeah
Yeah.
keeper.
Hmm.
But he has a big weakness, boy, and it's a
Yep.
big weakness. It's a
Yep.
cross. Like he don't ever come for. We have conceded out of all the goals we conceded, only two of them have not come from crosses for this season. And I'm not saying that he could have catch all of them or punch all of them, but he just don't come off his line. And I've not seen it only with keeper. This is not pointing fingers at keeper for any Real Madrid. Whatever is not going well for Real Madrid, but you see it with Onana. I see it this weekend with Chelsea keeper,
Yeah.
and it's something that's becoming more and more prevalent that these managers seem to think that the keeper needs to be instrumental in the build-up of play. And this is where I want to get into this. I believe our goalkeeper should be a goalkeeper first. Like, we don't ask the striker to come and stand up in the box unless it's from a corner to defend and to chase back a man. So if we're not asking the striker to do that, why is the keeper so instrumental of starting a play? And we see now, I'm going to call a name here, men who not are wrong, might get vexed with me, but Manchester United gave up David De Gea, who was prone to his mistakes in some recent times, but he has been a solid goalkeeper for a long time for them.
Well, I
And
mean,
the sole reason they gave him up is because he's not good with his feet.
yeah,
And he lost his
and
spot in Spain as well for that same reason.
yeah, and man, I
He's not
mean, David De
good with his
Gea,
feet.
albeit I think if it wasn't for David De Gea, I think Manchester United would have been much, much lower in the table
Well,
over recent years because I think he was the best player, voted the best player. Even though we know we have, and you know the guy we're talking about, right? I know the
yeah,
guy who hates David De Gea, but as a fellow rival fan, I will tell you, David De Gea is, in fact, United's best player for a few years, and he was voted United's best player for a few years, right?
I have no reason to like David De Gea. He come from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
And he went Manchester United. But I think I respect where I respect you. He was a
Well,
monster in that group
over
for
the
a very long
years,
time.
when Chelsea could have scored a goal, right? And David De Gea has been a thorn in a lot of team sides. You know, even when Manchester United plays poorly, David De Gea could have keep a clean sheet. And Manchester United, all remember Fergie time? Fergie time was David De Gea. David De Gea stopping everything. And United coming in 90 something minutes and scoring a goal and winning it. But
So, and this
look,
is
the
where I
whole
wanted
thing
to go
about it is
there.
that everything
But
goes
they
for the
gave up
split.
that. They
Yeah.
gave up that to get a man who could pass the ball. And look what happened. You know what? Manchester men going to try to be very positive and optimistic with Andre Onana. But for a man to now come in and make so much high profile mistakes against lesser opposition, against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, nah man.
Yeah,
Nah
well,
man.
I will talk about it in terms of like the same issue in terms of like my club because you have Kepa, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one thing about it is that when I really think about it, and fellas think about it, when last or this a man take a goal kick, a proper goal kick,
No. A proper goal kick, it just so
Kepa come
happened.
in. When last have
A
you
man
seen
standing wide on the wing and looking to pass it to him.
a proper goal kick and a forward shoulder to shoulder with a central defender, header in a ball and looking for and the midfielder looking to get the second ball and the second rebound. You don't see it anymore. So let me talk about that game at Chelsea. That game at Chelsea. So Chelsea wanted to play out to the back, and Kepa could play out to the back, but
Mm-hmm.
Kepa cannot. He's short. He's short. He's small. And in the Premier League, there's a lot of times he came up wanting jump for a cross, miss the whole cross, um, made some errors, etc. So he actually had a better season for us last year when this guy Mendy had a appalling thing because let me use he for example. He was a shot stopper who could have come on the box, but he couldn't have played from the back. And we tried to do it with Frank Lampard and with Potter. And I couldn't work. Potter played the Brighton ball. And a lot of people in the Premier League especially have started to look at Brighton, right? And hence Chelsea, who basically wants to buy Brighton, right? Signed a Brighton keeper who they believed could have done it. But the difference with the
Yeah.
Brighton keeper they signed is that he was a number one until the second Brighton keeper, David Raya, who is now at Arsenal, right? Right? So, yeah. But Sanchez tried to play, look, he commands the box, he made some good saves for us, but the man cannot play out from the back. And
Mm-hmm.
my thing, 2-0 up. You are 2-0 up, Arsenal, right? You're playing your hearts out. You get a ball out in the back, right? Just dunk the ball forward, not ready. You have 10 minutes to
Yeah.
play. 10 minutes.
Put it out.
Kick the ball
Like
up.
why this is it. Why you want to keep at the starting the plays? Thanks for taking in this episode of Sportsline. Feel free to comment below if you like this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to know when we bring out any future content. See you in the next episode.